This is me, the Grand Duchess Rasmus Conan. I'm enjoying my root beer. What a good thing root beer is. It quiets the soul, it calms the spirit. I'm telling truth. Alright? This is me, the Grand Duchess Rasmus Conan, Ryan Tomlinson. This is the second part of the email questions and answers. Okay, so what we were last number of said, don't wear your head turban and so forth. It makes you look insane and mentally ill. How precious that we should always jump to the conclusion that people are mentally ill and the things that they suffer. This is the stigma that the military uses to subdue and get people to conform after assault and various injustices have been done to them. I am not intimidated by anything. As I said, I will forever stand up. I was victimized in Korea. I've been victimized in the military most of my whole career. Stigmatized, not because of mental illness, but because of sexuality or what people thought was sexuality issue. I've never had any problem with don't ask, don't tell, and I'm not into any of all of that. I would never blame my problems on that. Sex have never been a problem for me anywhere. Professionalism is professionalism. And people always blame mental illness for things and so forth. As I said, I was victimized here at Walter Reed also. My life threatened and so forth. And so what is it that I can offer now? Or what is the greatest thing that people can say, family and friends that abandoned me in my time of need, when I was assaulted, when I was drugged? My heart doesn't work anymore. I can't run 5 miles and have that stamina anymore. People must realize, the first thing people must realize, whenever there is an action, whenever there is something, there's a problem, the result of a problem, what led to the result of that problem? And here I am. I've never been a drug addict. I've never abused drugs of any kind, street drugs, legal drugs, nothing at all. But once I mentioned this to my family, hence come the dog bends of the military that said I was strung out or something. I did hard work in Korea, and as I've always said, those bitches came from Killeen, Texas to Korea and gave me a bad record, but I executed a damn good vaccination program, and there's nothing any of those bitches from the Army Nurse Corps can take care of on me. And I say bitches because guess what? I am a head bitch too. Better bitches than any of them could ever be with that rank. And guess what? I will never take it back for what it is, knowing that they were foul, they were indecent, and they were disgusting. And I would never want to work with them in my life again, because that is them. Whenever sometimes when women get together, a certain thing come out, and that is the degradation of the Army Nurse Corps. Just the sheer bitchiness and the sheer envy of the whole thing. It made me sick in itself as a person, and I called myself a girl, not as a man, because I regard myself as a woman. I feel like a woman. I embrace that part of me, and I always have and always will. I choose now to verbalize it. And so if they could say mental illness, they're incorrect. Rising, I put that on my Facebook page. When I was drugged in Korea, I put on my Facebook, I said there is a white powder stuff, whatever. And one of my friends, Bridget, I will never forget her, she said, Ryan, she put on my Facebook page, they are drugging you with ricin. They said it. And so I have no respect for them. They knew what they were doing. And I have done my whole series in my diary about that. You can check out the series and you can say all of it. But that is my own opinion, and I will live by that opinion. If they want to justify themselves, give me my disbursement and let me go on. We don't have anything else to say to each other. We always attack mentally ill and truly mentally ill people. It would be so nice if I took medication that people could say this is what it is and this is what. But you know what? Would you lie to yourself? Would you submit yourself to becoming an addict to something to calm the nerves of somebody else's anxieties and their to cover their crimes? I don't think so. This is Ryan Tomlinson, the head wrap and all. Today is a little bit more subdued, but I embrace myself. I don't know how people sleep with themselves at night, but I can sleep by myself. I hate sleeping by myself. I wish I had a man. That does not change after anything. I wish I had that, but I can sleep with the results of my action every day, and I can stand for the strength of my convictions, and I can look when I sit in these caregivers' face and know when they're stalling. I sat this week and somebody's trying to reach point A to point B. Then she said, no, 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 no. We need to go to the middle ground first. And I said, all this time, now we need to get to point B. You are talking about a middle ground. What have you been doing all this time? This person became offended by that because of that. Rightly so, she should be offended because she lacks in her judgment. They were not doing their job. They just came down and they become fat and isolated and subjective, interested in more in the personality than the mission that they have to accomplish, and so forth. If they want to make a joke out of my life, is everything, but this is not a joke, and I will never. This is not some sort of YouTube parody or something. This is a serious matter. Seriously, everything I've ever spoken, from my mention from Hillary Clinton all the way down to Mueller, it has not been a joke. It has been serious conduct, serious contact, and honest actions on my part. I can't speak on their behalf. I really cannot. And look whose administration they're into. I can't speak for them. I can speak on my behalf. Somebody said, truly, I'm truly concerned, and it's the parent, you're the victim of trauma. Please help. Please, I will help you any way I can, and I will pray for you. Thank you so much for trying to pray for me. But as your misconceptions, if you have any misconception, call me, send me your email. I can easily clear them up. But friends will be friends. When I was homeless, I had a lot of friends from University of Maryland, and one day I was so hungry. After 3 days, I wrote a friend. I said, could you send me $5? Could you meet me? I haven't seen not one of these friends yet. Not Trisha, not Malcolm, not Susan, not Cherry Valeria, not my family members also. And so therefore, what more do I have to say for them? If you feel that there was something wrong with your friend, would you have left them by the street side? If you had a house, 2 houses, and something was wrong with a friend that needed a shelter and stayed in the rain under a shed, would you have left them there, or would you have given them shelter and then asked them to seek help? What would a caregiver do? Would you sit by and judge in silence, or would you stand up and take the courage to give that person help? And so these friends of mine, they have nothing on me. University of Maryland was an experience, an eye-opening experience. A chaplain told me anything that started out incorrectly, it ended incorrectly. Funny thing, at University of Maryland, I had a traumatic brain injury. I spent 8 hours in University of Maryland trauma center and then was allowed to drive home, dizzy and confused. And these people let me out on the street like that. All my tutors, my mentors, they knew that I had this injury, and they let me matriculate. It was hard, but I made it. The military, the same deal, and the same confusion happened when we entered. But you know what? It ended just like that. It gives you an insight as to who caregivers really are. Can they identify? Can they advocate if it's not plainly in front of their face? And that is it. They cannot. And so therefore, how should I identify with a friend of mine from University of Maryland? When I was homeless and hungry, you gave me no food and no shelter. Now that I have given my rebuttal of my whole thing from Maryland and my whole life and my adversity, here you come on your judgment. Your head wraps and that makes you look crazy. But God does not judge me for crazy. God judged me on my honesty and my truth and my ability to give him all. And that such I have been given, and in such I am comforted. Not by Malcolm Cook or Trisha Carvalho or Susan Gascon. I could say the best friends are the worst hypocrites. And the worst hypocrites are the best gold diggers. History proved it. Jesus and Judas, the best friends, the worst hypocrites, the best gold diggers, but the best truth and the best salvation came from patience and prayer, and that I will continue to do. This is Misa Grand Duchess Rasmus Conan. Have a good evening.